Hello Captains, welcome to the third video in this Las Vegas sort of trio of videos. In the first video, for those of you who haven't seen it yet, we had a look at Las Vegas and saw what it looked like with just ORBX handling the environment and prepared handling the models. It looked okay. It didn't look like this, but it looked okay. Then I installed Mega Scenery's landscape for Las Vegas City, which basically gave us 50 centimeter tiled textures for the city of Las Vegas. It still included a lot of the buildings, a lot of the casinos. That they were just like basic sort of models though, and it looked okay, and you know, it integrated well with ORBX base surrounding it. Then I installed Aerosoft's Las Vegas X City add-on, which sat on top of Mega Scenery's Las Vegas, and that integrated well as well. And they worked well together, and it looked great. And in fact, it also came with mesh for the Grand Canyon, which we're going to do in part 2 of this video. And then finally, I installed FS DreamTeam's KLAS airport, which is what we see now, and ran into a few problems first, which was easily fixed just by simply going to that vector tool again in ORBX, the FTX central installer, and pulling up the vector tool and basically just disabling by hand, because when I ran the configuration it still hadn't picked up, and I still had terminals and buildings flying in the air, and the elevation was all over the spot place. But what I did is I basically went into that tool and by hand disabled the airport elevation, and now everything looks absolutely fine. There are no buildings flying around. There are nothing really. Everything is as it should be, really. As you can see, the background looks bloody marvelous. That does. Anyway, let's hop in, get into this aircraft, and see what we can see now. By adding all this scenery on, my frames have taken a little bit of a hit. I am sort of now on the 30 end, whereas before it was kind of 40. But that's okay, as long as I get 25, that's all I care about. So let's hit up now. Make sure our flaps are at the right amount, because this is going to be a bit of a weird one. I like the runway textures. It looks pretty nice here, and the airport itself, look at that. That looks nice. That does. The wind is really pulling me here. Gosh, I've got to rudder it just to keep it straight. Alright, let's take off if we can. There we go. And take our flaps off. So the airport, we're going to have a fly around the airport real quick. Just because it's a nicely done airport here. The models are much better than they were before. I mean, that tower is gorgeous, a lot better than the tower we saw before. Oh hello, slight elevation dip here, which is better than it going the other way around, I'm afraid, which is where everything is floating. Oh, there we go, it's sorting itself out now as we fly around it. I'm not too bothered about that one, to be honest. I'm more concerned about the airport itself, which, as I say, looks really nice here. You know, terminals, the textures, everything looks pretty darn good here. Obviously, the terrain here has got a bit of a glitch on it, but that's only a case of going and deactivating a couple of files, really, to sort that out. The mesh over there looks really nice, and we've already seen the strip and Las Vegas skyline. That was pretty nice. Don't know why I popped into that seat for a second, but yeah, there are a few weird things going on, but to be honest, if you're coming in, I mean that for me is okay-ish. The airport is got no problems whatsoever. The city hasn't got any problems whatsoever. So I just need to go and sort of sort out what's happening here. Which I think it's just a case of disabling a few files. It does say in the manual if you do have Mega Scenery X installed with it, or Las Vegas X, sorry, Mega Scenery, and you do have the airport and the city on top, then you will have conflicts and you will need to do a little bit of jiggery pokery. But to be honest, this is okay for me. It doesn't interrupt too much. I'm supposed to be able to find out how we're flying. I still like it. I mean, coming in on here. In fact, you know what? Let's try and get as high as we can, and see what it looks like from a higher altitude. And we'll see properly then, won't we? Because I'm not too fussed about that. That's fine. The terminals are fine. When you take off, it's fine. You know, and you come in for a landing, you're still going to land on it. It's still fine. But let's have a look at it from like 7,000 feet and see what it looks like. And then we're going to go hit the Grand Canyon. I don't really think where we go, which is the Grand Canyon National Park, I don't think there's going to be any change to the scenery there. Simply because the Grand Canyon, this is the Grand Canyon as well, around us, and where we go, I think, is way over here in the distance, and I don't think the Las Vegas X stretches that far. It may do, which would be awesome, because I think these are really detailed and really highly done well. So that would be pretty cool if we could get the same level of detail there. Let's have a look at the ground here. Ooh, yeah, oh hello, something under construction there. Nice casinos there, lovely. They've even got their reflections on to reflect the environment going around. There's a few going out there, and then you've got the Mega Scenery tiling out there. It's I think it all blends really well. I mean, okay, looking on this side, you know, you've got this bit here which doesn't blend well, but the airport looks really nice. All the markings, they're really kind of photoreal. I like the airport textures. You know, it's a really nice looking airport, to be honest. All the buildings are here. All my sliders are turned up to the max as well, except for the auto gen draw distance. I didn't put that up to the max. I just put that to medium, and so that's why you're getting a line of auto gen here that fills in slowly, because it just does it around the aircraft. It doesn't go off into the distance. Although there are some over here. I believe that's Area 51. I'm not too sure. Could be wrong on that. Looks like there's a baseball pitch there, down there. So, 4,000 feet. Slowly getting there. We'll do a turn and see if we can climb up some more. Don't want to stall it though. And we'll come back around over the airport. Pretty windy. It's I can feel it. Windy, windy. Yeah, very nice. See, from here, you really can't tell that there's an issue here at all, you know? It looks absolutely fine. Okay, so we're coming up to 5,000 feet. I think 5,000 feet is actually high enough, to be fair. For me, looking around, it all looks very nice. You know, I've got no issues with what I'm seeing here. I wish my textures would load in a bit faster, but hey ho. And the stuttering that's happening is simply because I'm recording as well. So my system's doing quite a lot. And I think I've got a couple of websites open as well. So there we go. I think we'll leave it for this video. And in part 2, we're going to hit the Grand Canyon. Okay? So, see you in a mo. Okay, this is just a quick update video to the Las Vegas sceneries. So, when we took off before, we noticed that there was some height conflicts with the airport and the Las Vegas X City and the Mega Scenery add-on. So, still got the Mega Scenery add-on installed over here, okay? And then this looks like ORBX installed here. And then moving over here, we've got the Las Vegas City X in the distance, as you can see, the hotels there, okay? And then the airport is over here, just here. Now, here is where we had that conflict where the runway was much higher than this land here, and it was like, oh, what the, you know what I mean? In fact, we had a line, this line here, going right across. So as you can see now, that I've basically found a fix for it. And I'm going to leave the fix in the description box for those of you who are having the same problem. Because as you can see now, it's completely smoothed everything out. I've got no height problems whatsoever. I've still got my Las Vegas X scenery put in there. That's still installed. There's a couple of buildings probably missing because ORBX is also in here. That's why we have trees everywhere. The terraflora trees are still active. And so it's like all these, basically these four sceneries are working together to create what we see here. But the one main thing we don't have is that elevation difference here. Right here there was a massive elevation difference. Basically I found a fix for it. Somebody made a BGL file to put in and make these compatible with each other, and then you have to deactivate a few other files, which I will leave a fix in for. You don't need to run your DreamTeam updater, or in fact the vector tool from ORBX won't even find it. I manually had to disable it, and then I still got that difference of height here, which it wasn't a major problem, it wasn't too bad, but you know, it was like still enough to warrant, I think, further investigation, which I did and sorted. So oh, hello, little Mackie's down there. So that's just a quick update. Yeah, I just wanted to quickly do this, just to, if anybody's been having trouble, then you know, there is a fix for it, and you can get it sorted. Gosh, this Las Vegas X scenery is quite stunning. So that's it, and I shall see you when we fly over the Grand Canyon. Okay, see ya, take care. Hello, welcome back to the third part of the video where we fly over the Grand Canyon and we see if the Aerosoft's Las Vegas X has made any real difference to the mesh of the Grand Canyon where we've flown before. We saw that it does make a difference over by the Las Vegas City and the Strip and all that. But I think it now, let's see if it's actually made any difference to the usual spot we fly. Looking at it here, you know, I really can't be sure, to be honest. It does look different. It looks more defined, more molded. There's more peaks and troughs that are more sharper than it has before. Obviously the texture hasn't loaded onto it yet, so like properly, so we'll see what that looks like when we get down on it. But yeah, I think it has stretched out this far, because and we're probably a good I'd say 30, 40, 50 miles away from that spot. I mean, possibly less, I'm not really sure, but that's where my guess is. And yeah, it's made a massive difference. The mesh that Aerosoft Las Vegas X has used is a lot more tighter in detail, like a lot more smaller points than FS Global was even using, which is weird because a Grand Canyon is a massive attraction and you'd think that they would get the best, unless they've got the same but they've just repointed them to make it look different. I don't know. It does look different though. I can definitely see that it's changed from when we first flew over here without Las Vegas X airport. So let's fly down and we shall see how it defines the look of the canyon. It's a bit windy, to be fair. Lovely little town there, on the edge of a cliff. Right, so descending into the canyon now. Whoa. Nothing scary about this at all, is there? We don't want to hit any rocks, but we do want to see what it's going to look like when it loads in properly. So we just swing around basically. We'll go out, we'll come back. But I can already see massive details that I couldn't see before. And I tell you, you know, and there was the river up here, there's a lot more detail of the terrain. I'll tell you one thing I've noticed massively is, go back to the first video we flew over the canyon and just have a look at how much this has changed from when we flew over there, because it's like, oh my gosh, you know, there is such a change in what we see now to what we saw in the first flyover. The first flyover was shameful, to be honest, compared to this. This is just like, okay, looking like the Grand Canyon, you know. I mean, look at that detail down there. Oh my gosh, you could practically make out people, probably, if there was somebody who had been caught on the photo or the satellite data when they took it. It's like, oh my gosh, you could perhaps see them, you know. I mean, that is stunning. That is right there. That is stunning. It's a lot better than what we flew over before. It's a lot better. It has really added to the canyon. If you're a Grand Canyon fan and you like flying in the Grand Canyon in different you know, vehicles. I gotta tell you, the add-on for Las Vegas X will add so much detail to your textures that Mega Scenery give me. Mega Scenery are providing the textures here, but it's Las Vegas X from Aerosoft that's providing that pin sharp pointy mesh underneath. That's just bringing them textures alive, to be honest. It is really stuttery because I'm recording as well. If I cut the recording off, the stutters would go. I've also got about 5 websites open, so all of this combined to mean I get a bit of a stuttery. So please don't take that as any impact on, you know, hardware or software. It's just absolute gorgeous here. Look at that. Trails going down that you can make, the trees here. You know, oh gosh, it really does look gorgeous, you know? Really looks gorgeous. So, there we go. Grand Canyon. Looking ace. So, that's it for this video. So, where will we be going next? Well, we shall be taking off and heading out to the sort of Greek, Spanish places over there, where we have Mallorca, Ibiza, what else we got? Just loads, really. La Palma, Genoa, the Balearic Professional Islands, you know, Napoli. All of them will be heading out next. So a lovely little tour over some sunny seas and gorgeous weather, and some lovely looking terrain, I imagine. So until next time, guys, take care, and I'll see you all then. Keep flying in the skies.